Alright, this time I'm going to walk us through the site first. I've actually changed out the template, completely modified everything HTML-wise front end, added some JavaScript to do some cool stuff, and some really heavy feedback, and also user handling and permission system. So first and foremost, let's enter an email, but maybe not a password, or maybe even not a valid email. Of course, we'll get that field verification there, which is always nice, and assuming we enter the wrong password, we've also got some feedback there as well. Now, once we enter the correct information, we can get on into the dashboard here. We'll have some other tools down here, but right now, this is the notification system, we also have the different centers. This is a nice little tool here. It's a drop-down box because there will be a lot of centers, so we can also search in this box as well, which is very nice. Then if we select a particular center, okay, that drops us in this route, assigns it into the session. Now the important thing about that is there's different permissions for different users in different sessions. In different centers. For example, this particular user is not a moderator and normally would not be able to see the users or the settings, but I have root blocking there anyway. For example, if we try to click on that, or if the user had typed in the URL directly, this would be the feedback that they would get regarding that. Of course, this link would actually be gone soon. That's just here to demonstrate that. And also it removed the center. Now, if we go to a page that we are allowed to go to, you can see actually this stays here. The dashboard link would change. It would allow us to go back and forth, keep that session stored with the center we're in. And this is actually a very nice little data table. We can remove that. And you can see here if we go to a different center, alright, there's actually different things here for that. So, essentially, this is kind of nice as well. I only have a few entries, but you could max this out to whatever you'd like. You can sort on that. You can search things. As you can see, these have been disabled for that. So our actual tool systems. And also we have the logout function, of course. Alright. And a bunch of route blocking to keep the users where they need to be in different situations. For example, if we typed in some center don't even have, okay, I mean everything you could think of, there's pretty much something taken care of that. So that is definitely good. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the code now. Alright, so these are basically my main files. Of course, the initialization file, some stored variables, basic setup, construction of the app, all that. Okay, now these are the roots. So this is what's doing the heavy lifting here for the most part. Alright, so this is that dashboard area, the center where it originally sends you. Okay, oh, that's another cool thing too. I forgot to mention that. I actually like that. Let me mention that really quickly. So let's say we weren't logged in and we traveled to one of our old links that we did actually have access to. And we clicked on that. You can see here it's stored it as next. Let us know the session's expired. We can go ahead and log back in, and assuming that we do and everything's great, it will put us right back where we were. How nice is that? So yeah, anyways, that handles most of that there. Stores the session of the center that's dropped in, sees what access to what centers the user has, um, make sure that there's valid permissions, all that good stuff. And then also there's a lot of stuff going on the JavaScript side with that as well, making all that work nicely. As well as that little dashboard link, we've got basically, assuming that, because it actually has to be stated which one it's going to, whether there's a center in there, that dashboard link actually changes. This link here would either go to center-3315 in this case, or if it wasn't there, then it would just go here. So that's pretty important. That's what allows us to be able to travel between these two and still hold that center. Whereas if it was gone, you can't. So, okay, and so that is the dashboard there. The login. Okay, we're basically using that with the forms to validate all that good stuff. Log in the user, redirect them to the dashboard or the next page, whichever one. Login manager helps us out with that, so that's nice. Of course, log out's pretty easy. Some of the manager functions you've seen there, bringing in that data table and all that good stuff, and also keeping a hold of that session in that center. And reloading that, so that's good. We got that going on there. And then we have, you can see some of these custom decorators. Login required comes from Login Manager. Center required, however, is a custom decorator, so is mod permissions and admin permissions, which comes from our little utility file over here. It's pretty nice. It'll actually run this function prior to accessing that root. Anything that it's told to do, it can do that. And then if everything's okay, it'll just go ahead and execute the original function that it was doing. And I have a couple of those. And then some other just utility functions helping me out with some database actions, basically just minimizing what I have to type in the view. And then our models. This has been fun, dealing with ORM and all the relationships and the many-to-many and all that stuff. It's definitely a lot of work. Some little helper functions out here for the employee, the user essentially, the getter and the setter for the password, decrypt it, then to get the permissions for the center that we're currently in. Get the list of centers, a bunch of stuff helping out there, going over to utilities, and then finally making its way to the view. These many-to-many relationships have also association tables. For example, the center and the employee, share a center employee for a many-to-many relationship. Okay, and then from that they have certain permissions and access tables, which is another table as well. So really, when you're dealing with the user's permissions, we're talking about 4 tables. And although it's a lot to write, and it's a lot to really scratch your head at, it's really helpful to get access to those permissions. I can directly access this 4th table based on filters and this, that, and the other from a single non-existent column in the employee table. So it really is actually kind of helpful. Because see, right here, user permissions for, we pass in the center, okay, and then I can take the permissions, which is checking the center employee, and filter by the center ID, okay, and then I can directly access the access table from that. So it's helpful. Same thing, center business, and I still have a couple more tables to go for the documents and required documents. But not many. I've done most of my tables, so it's definitely coming along. This is the what the end result will be here. And so yeah, I've got this thing running on my virtual private server, as well as the debugged version, my debugger localization as well. It's so nice because I can keep both those running and just make a git push to the live server, and it's automatically running. That was not easy to set up, though, I will tell you that. Um, you know, the thing about it is you have to have uh, some serious stuff going on. No, we don't really need that large screen, but you have to have some serious stuff going on in order to get that going on. I'll just pop in there real quick just so we can take a look. Start to forget my... There we go. Okay. So basically, I've got another virtual environment running on here, its own separate virtual environment, its own instance configuration, and then interestingly enough, you have to have another little file, this little WSGI file, which that right here is what is mod WSGI is running through Apache, and yeah, that was fun. But nevertheless, that's pretty much everything right now. Still got a little bit more to go. Got to get the documents in and link those up with the businesses, and then that should just about do it. All the settings are really done, the permissions and stuff like that, but I will make them available through the settings and the user permissions links to make those settings within the app. But they are functioning already.